Okay, so in this drill, we've got a band hooked up to the top hand. And one of the things we need to talk about, just safety-wise, is anytime we take a band, whether we're hitting, pitching, throwing, whatever the case is, and we hook a band to the arm or elbow, we don't do anything high speed, right? We can with the hip, we can with the torso, but not with the hands. We're trying not to torque or damage the elbow or shoulder here, right? In this drill, we're going to go ahead and set up. And really what we're trying to work on is giving a little bit of load to what we call the hands. Even though the hands are loading, so is a muscle over here called the lat muscle that's really important through your core. So the first thing we're going to have him do is set up like he's going to hit. If he wants, we'll have him put that barrel on the shoulder. And what we're going to have him do is basically start his stride motion with the lower half and really load his hands back. In other words, the knob on the bat, I'd like him to point that to the catcher's face. And it's important to understand that the shoulders are turning, a little rotating away, but the hands are not rotating with them. The hands are coming back more linear. And once again, so the knob's going to point at the catcher's face. Let's see what it looks like in slow motion. And then from there, we're just asking him to go down to basically a stop bat contact point. But really feeling as he takes his hands back, what's it feel like for his lat over here to load up and stretch? We get that stretch, then basically as he strides, his hips, his legs, his core, his lat, all the body, we're creating power through these big muscles, and the hands are going to help finish it. You can break this drill down into two separate drills where we're just working on the load phase, right? And so let's do that. Let's just do a couple coiler loads and not actually go down to contact. Good, let's do that again. I would probably rep that first, where he's feeling what the band's doing, which is pulling his arms back. He should feel a little stretch through his lats, not pointing at the catcher's face, right? The second part of this, maybe he's done two or three sets of 10. He's really getting the feel for how to rep that. Then the next piece is we're going to load the hands. And now we'll go until we're going to go, as we go down into contact, we're going to take our back elbow, connect it in front of the back hip, and just do a stop bat drill. Awesome. All very slow once again. Andy, anything you see common young hitters doing with their hands?
Yeah, I think one thing just to note is we don't want that band to pull us all the way back, right? We don't want this arm to get barred out. We want to keep a little bit of flexion in there, but we want to get those hands loaded. We got to kick this thing on. And when we kick this thing on, we kick our right scap on, we're able to hold that just for a click longer. That's just going to create more power.
Okay, cool. Let's turn around and let you unhook, and let's talk, since you mentioned it, let's talk about what scap load is. It's really pretty advanced, but we'll go ahead and introduce it since you said. If you'll turn around and maybe face the other direction. So your scaps are your shoulder blades. We've got one over here on the right, one over here on the left. And once again, this is more advanced. For a 9, 10, 11, 12-year-old, you're probably not talking about this until they're 15, 16, 17. But since Andy mentioned it, and we've got 15, 18 and college guys following the program, let's get into it. Get down into your hips. And as he starts into his coiler load and his hands are going back, right? Knob's going towards the catcher, getting that stretch over here in the lat. But there's this right shoulder blade, and really what we want it to do is get connected to the rib cage here. And so we talk about scap load or scap pinch. You hear some guys talking about. The scap actually fires down flat against the rib cage. When he does that, and now his body starts to turn, his hips are turning, his corals turn, shoulders are come through last, he's going to connect his arms through his scap to the rib cage. That's going to create more force, more power, and the hip and shoulder separation he talked about earlier is going to create a lot more power. Anything else on that?
Yeah, and I think even for the younger kids doing this drill, it's just going to happen naturally, and you're going to start to kick on those muscles without ever thinking about it.